Please welcome the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton.
Thank you. Thank you. The kind introduction. It's wonderful to be here, Colorado. She forgot to mention I'm also an unpaid intern at Fox News. You know, it used to be, and I say this with all due respect, I used to go to the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Outrage. And the pews started getting fuller and fuller and fuller, and now the bishop is in the White House. You know, we should be outraged. Why? Because our republic is under attack. Our Republican form of government's been under attack. We're seeing it in its worst form with the assault on President Trump. But we've all been through it already, haven't we? Remember the Tea Party? Who participated in the Tea Party here? Well, you were all a big problem for Barack Obama in 2012 as he was seeking re-election. So what did he do? He and his friends in the Democratic Party weaponized the IRS to try to suppress your First Amendment rights and abuse the IRS to target you and suppress the Tea Party in 2012. And it helped him steal the election in 2012. He suppressed the entire political movement against him. And you know who they worked with to do that? Because Judicial Watch uncovered the documents. The FBI and the Justice Department. Robert Mueller's FBI, Obama's DOJ, was colluding with Lois Lerner's IRS to think of ways to prosecute the very groups that Lois Lerner was suppressing. And only because the scandal broke, that effort to try to jail his political opponents become undone. But the lesson was learned. They knew they could use the weapons of government, the government agencies, to guarantee election results. So 2016 comes around, and Judicial Watch is doing what Judicial Watch does, which is suing the government for government documents about things they don't want you to know about, like Benghazi, like IRS, like Fast and Furious. And in doing that, we found the Clinton emails. And so that was a big problem for Hillary Clinton and for the Obama administration that had so much invested in putting Hillary Clinton back into the presidency. Well, arguably never mind. We wonder who sometimes was running the Bill Clinton administration. And Judicial Watch uncovered those emails. Now, I know many of you wonder why Hillary Clinton wasn't prosecuted and why isn't she being prosecuted now? That's a topic I'll get to a little bit later. But they had a major problem because the Clinton email scandal was getting worse and worse thanks to Judicial Watch. We were getting documents out. We were deposing witnesses. We were uncovering pay-to-play at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation. She faced significant legal and criminal liability. What was the solution? Let's figure out how to use the DOJ, the NSA, the FBI, the State Department, the Obama White House, the Office of Director of National Intelligence, all the King's forces, all the King's men, to try to target President Trump with illegal spying and smears. No Clinton email scandal, no Clinton campaign. You would have had no Russia dossier, no Spygate targeting of President Trump. They had done it in 2012, and they tried to do it again in 2016. The difference is it didn't work. President Trump won, despite those efforts. But they didn't give up because they saw this Russiagate hoax as an opportunity to freeze the Trump administration with special counsels and continued spying, even on the president himself once he became president. And of course, they needed to protect themselves from any serious criminal investigation. Remember, Obama knew about Hillary Clinton's emails. We found material that the Obama White House orchestrated the cover-up. The Clinton email scandal was an Obama scandal, was an FBI scandal, was a Justice Department scandal. Well, let's freeze the Justice Department under President Trump with the King Mueller operation to guarantee that nothing's done against Hillary Clinton and her co-conspirators in the Obama administration. And yet, that still didn't work. Because now we have a new Attorney General Barr who isn't afraid of the deep state, who isn't afraid of Hillary Clinton, isn't afraid of asking these tough questions. And I don't know if he's going to prosecute Hillary Clinton, but I do think he's going to consider it carefully, which would be a remarkable change of pace here in Washington, D.C., or there in Washington, D.C. Imagine enforcing the rule of law as opposed to putting people above the rule of law. You know, and whether or not Hillary Clinton's been prosecuted, there's been rough justice for Hillary Clinton. Now, we didn't do this to get Hillary or to keep her out of the presidency. I didn't know she was going to run for president. Judicial Watch didn't know she was going to run for president. We just wanted the documents about Benghazi. Believe it or not, we still consider Benghazi to be a major Obama-Clinton scandal. And we wanted all the truth on it. Yes, she wasn't prosecuted, but I tell you what, if the American people were sitting as a grand jury on Election Day, she sure was indicted, wasn't she? But the attack, the coup cabal targeting President Trump continues. You have the Democrats in the House, whose party was behind this dossier along with Hillary Clinton, harassing him with subpoenas. You have a judicial harassment where you have these out-of-control judges who don't like President Trump throwing the rule of law out of the window to oppose his policies or upend his policies. And then, of course, you still have the Justice Department, who is yet to be sanctioned or disciplined or prosecuted, you name it, for the targeting of President Trump. And so what's going to happen next? The rule of law needs to prevail. You know, the president isn't above the law, but he's not beneath the law. And as far as I'm concerned, the illegal targeting of President Trump is the worst government corruption scandal in American history. I see they're going to be asking Robert Mueller some questions. I have some questions for Mr. Mueller. When did you know there was no collusion, and why didn't you tell us immediately? Why did you hire all these Democrats to target President Trump? Why did you interview for the FBI job and then investigate how the same job you interviewed for came open? Why did you delete all those text messages of Peter Strzok and Lisa Page? Why did your office do that? Why is it you're telling Americans that we should presume the president's guilty and you, quote, can't exonerate him from that guilt? Why is it, Mr. Mueller, you've upended the rule of law and abused your office for a year and a half to harass the President of the United States? And I'd like to know why Barack Obama hasn't been asked any questions about this. Those text messages I'm talking about, Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, they talked about the White House wants to know everything. James Comey, the corrupt FBI director, discussed the dossier in the Oval Office with Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And of course, as I affectionately call her, St. Hillary of the grand jury, she paid for the dossier. No one's asked her any questions. When is Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton going to go under oath? Or maybe even be asked a tough question about their involvement? When it comes to abusing the powers of office to spy on, suppress, and target your political opponents, Barack Obama makes Richard Nixon seem like a piker. penny-ante activity by Richard Nixon compared to using the CIA, the NSA, the State Department to spy on your potential successor. Nothing like it's ever happened before. Nothing like it's ever happened before. And I don't know about you, but I want justice for that. And that's why we have over 50 lawsuits against the deep state, trying to get information about the FISA warrants, about the spying, about the unmasking, about the targeting of President Trump. And no, we haven't forgotten about Hillary Clinton. We were deposing witnesses. Our attorneys were bringing in witnesses under oath, not because Judicial Watch wanted to, well, we did, but because a federal court wanted answers. Was Mrs. Clinton using her email system to avoid transparency law? Were they nervous? The court asked this. Were they nervous about Benghazi? Is that why they tried to hoodwink the court and pretend the emails didn't exist? We just found there were classified emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop, thanks to Hillary Clinton's email system. There's more than enough evidence to reopen the Clinton email criminal investigation. But the attack on the rule of law is coming from all sides. We're seeing it at the border. You're having the left has kind of gone bonkers, saying we shouldn't really be police the borders. If you get here illegally, we shouldn't send you home. It's not amnesty, it's lawlessness. At least amnesty, there's a process. I have an old-fashioned approach to the immigration crisis. Enforce the law. And we've done our Freedom of Information Act request to uncover the corruption at the border, but we're also suing in court to try to stop these sanctuary policies. We're suing right now San Francisco over its sanctuary policy. Now, we have politicians here, right? There are some politicians here. Anyone running for office come up on this stage? I think so. And you all vote, right? You write checks to candidates. You see the commercials. Well, that's all for naught if your elections can be stolen, isn't it? We need voter ID. We need citizenship verification. The states are obligated to take reasonable steps to clean up the rolls, meaning if you move or you die, you're removed from a state's registration rolls. In California, they hadn't done that in 20 years. And we sued in federal court, and Los Angeles County in the state of California just settled with Judicial Watch, and they've begun a process to remove up to 1.6 million inactive voters from their rolls. So you have these zombie voters on the rolls nationally. You have the left oppose voter ID, citizenship verification. Tens of millions of aliens are here in the United States, both legal and illegal. And it's a numbers game. A percentage of them register to vote, and a percentage of them are going to vote. How do we prevent that? By reestablishing or establishing a method to make sure that when you register to vote, we just don't take your word for it, but we have verification that you're a citizen before you're allowed to register to vote. And why does the left oppose that? Because the left wants to be able to steal elections if necessary. We need clean elections. We need voter ID. If your vote is stolen, that's a civil rights violation. Voter fraud is a civil rights issue of our time. And I know sometimes things seem overwhelming in Washington, D.C., and here in Colorado and in the West, wherever. But just so you know, Judicial Watch is here for you. We represent you. We represent you against a government that is corrupt, a government that is out of control. There is a way to bring it back under control. It's to use groups like Judicial Watch to hold them accountable to the rule of law. Our motto is, because no one is above the law. Thank you very much, and God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you very much.